Okay, thank you all. We call the meeting at 6:34. And if we could all rise, please. Dennis Pitts, please come forward.
Also, it's the invocation.
Well, you can do both.
All right.
You want to start with
Start
that?
with the pledge of
All
allegiance.
right.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is that on? Yes. So I don't know if I need to introduce myself. I'm Dennis Pitts, 35-year resident, former two-term POA board member, etc. And I'm here to deliver the invocation tonight. Dear Lord, as the citizens of Canyon Lake gathered this evening here in City Hall for the transition of our city council seats, we have much to be thankful for. We thank you for allowing us to be residents of this wonderful city and pray that you will help our new city council members make constructive contributions to our community as they serve their terms as Canyon Lake City Council members. We pray that you will bless our outgoing city council members as we, the citizens of Canyon Lake, thank them for all of the time and efforts that they have contributed to our city. They have each worked hard on behalf of Canyon Lake and can leave their city council positions with pride in what they have been able to accomplish on behalf of the city. As the new city council members embark on their city council terms, may they be reminded of the words of James Baker, the former Secretary of State under George H.W. Bush, who said at the recent presidential funeral, "The most important ships that sail on the political seas are friendships." We pray that our new city council will learn from the experiences that each of the city council members bring to this new city council, and that in the process they will build lasting and strong friendships as they guide our city through the challenging times that lie ahead. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Mike.
Okay, we have a roll call, please.
Councilmember Bonner,
Here.
Councilmember Aaron-Krantz,
Present.
Councilmember Haggerty, Mayor Pro Tem Green,
Here.
Mayor Warren.
Here. Are there any changes?
No, Madam Mayor, there are not.
Need approval of the agenda, please? I need a motion and a second.
I have a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All in favor.
And Madam Mayor, there are no matters to report from closed session.
Thank you. Okay, if we could have Nancy Horton come forward, please. All right, Nancy, you have to come all the way up to the front. Do you listen? Would you come over here? As everybody knows, Nancy has been a champion for water and Canyon Lake water and all of our safety issues for a very long time for Canyon Lake. The last 4 years, she has spent championing that fight from a different angle. She has sat on as the director for EBMWD. We're sorry to see her step down from that. We don't think she's going to be as silent as she thinks she's going to be. I know, poor Ted, he thinks it's not gonna happen. Okay, 6 months maybe, we'll see. We'll take bets. But we want to say tonight, thank you to Nancy for all that she has done, for all of us as citizens, for all that she has done on the water board, and to say farewell for now, but we will see you. We have a plaque for you, but I know you'd like to say some things.
Thank you very much. I'm very proud that in the last election we had a colossal number of people vote. That makes me very happy. I want to thank the members of the council, those who are continuing to serve and those who are moving on to brighter pastures, and especially to those who are joining the council at this time. I want to thank you very, very much for running, for winning, and for taking on the mantle of working for the citizens of Canyon Lake. So thank you all very much, and I feel very honored to be here and to receive this plaque.
Would you like?
Yep. Don't blink.
Thank you.
Yeah, I say so.
Yes, you may.
Oh, thanks. I just want to take this opportunity to tell Nancy that we both came on the council here in 2008, and we had a few disagreements over the years, but I certainly will miss seeing her. Hopefully you'll be coming to the meetings still, Nancy. I want to thank you for all that you've done for us, for the Water Board, and well, I think that's probably where I should stop, but I will miss you, and you can believe that, Nancy. Thank you.
Well, Mayor, I'd like to make a comment. Nancy is much more than water, and she did an incredibly job, but she was the original Veterans Day. Started it and moved it forward, and it wouldn't be where it is today if it wasn't for Nancy. And then about 5 years ago, I'm guessing, Nancy, the National Day of Prayer on the first week of May. And that became another thing. So she did so much in this community for all of us. And we're so fortunate to have someone like that in our community. And so, Nancy, thank you.
Okay. City Clerk? We would like to introduce the items of canvass of the election.
Thank you, Mayor. It is recommended that the City Council adopt Resolution Number 2018-29, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Canyon Lake reciting the facts of the general municipal election held on November 6, 2018, declaring the results and such matters as provided by law.
You need a motion on that?
No. Do we have any questions from any council members? No discussion? We get a motion now?
I move that we approve the results of the election.
Second.
We have a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Bonner,
Aye.
Councilmember Aaron-Krantz,
I
Councilmember Haggerty,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Green,
Aye.
Mayor Warren.
Aye.
Motion carried 5-0 to adopt Resolution Number 2018-29.
Okay, at this point, I pass the mic over to Mayor Pro Tem Green.
All right, thank you. I would like to ask both Dawn, since I got the mic in front of me, and Vicki to come up to the podium, but we'll go with Dawn first. I think it's on, okay. Because I know that I hear from folks out in the audience out here at TV Land that when we talk to you guys and we're not at the mic, they can't hear us. So we got a mic, and Dawn, I would like to present you with your plaque of your years of service here on the council. It's been really good. You've learned and given me a heck of a learning of not only your past experiences, but what we've worked through on since we've been on the council together. And with that, I have to get this plaque for you. And what I'll do, after I give Vicki hers, I'll ask you if you would like some words to say to the folks. And
She can go ahead now.
okay, there you go.
Hello and goodbye. I basically just want to thank all those who, for the many, many years that I've held office in the POA and in here, that you supported me. It was very important to me. And I tried to do the best I could to support you in any calls that I got or any requests that I got from the public. And you're in good hands, and thank you.
Okay, Vicki.
Yes.
Well, here she comes. Been our mayor for last year. It's been a joy. We've had several early morning phone calls, usually because we both get up early, it's easy to do that. But again, a sincere thank you for your leadership and the things that you've put our city and moved our city towards and forward. So you will be dismissed.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
And in case Brian acts up, this can test your reflexes.
I'll just be very short. I want to thank you all for the last 4 years have been a whirlwind. They go by so very quickly. It's been a pleasure to serve. It's been a pleasure to serve on behalf of Canyon Lake. It's been a pleasure to serve as the mayor. And thank you all very much. Good night.
Okay, I would like to ask the deputy clerk to present the certificates of the election, please. Okay.
I'd like to call up Casey Castillo. And Jeremy Smith. Congratulations, team.
Okay, would you, after they get their photos, would you conduct the oath of office, please?
We'll start with Greg Castillo.
Hey, Greg, could you use the mic? 'Cause
Yeah.
that way they can hear you.
I don't know if you're gonna need it, but sure.
That's all right.
Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I do solemnly affirm
I do solemnly affirm
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and that I take this obligation freely
and that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well
and that I will well
and faithfully discharge the duties
and faithfully discharge the duties
upon which I'm about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter.
Congratulations.
Next, we have Cameron Wessel and Jeremy Smith, please.
I did what she says, so. We're gonna have your wife help us out. Oh, nice.
Is it easier for you to use the podium or?
We'll have his wife help out here.
There you go.
All right. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly affirm. I do solemnly affirm that I will support and defend. That I will support and defend. The Constitution of the United States. The Constitution of the United States. And the Constitution of the State of California. And the Constitution of the State of California. Against all enemies. Against all enemies. foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well
and that I will well
and faithfully discharge the duties
and faithfully discharge the duties
upon which I am about to enter.
upon which I'm about to enter.
All right.
Okay, our two new council members, you get a moment to address the group if you would like to, and then Councilman Aaron Krantz would like to make a comment. Go ahead.
Thank you all for coming. It is on. I'm very grateful for the support of Canyon Lake. I'm very excited to work for Canyon Lake. I see a lot of my friends here, which makes me very happy, and it's a great feeling to know that you're here to support me. But I'm also very, very looking forward to representing people I don't know and haven't yet met. I hope I can represent us greatly and fully, and I'm excited.
Thank you.
What an exciting night. You know, I met a lot of you in this room at your doorstep. My wife and I door knocked Canyon Lake, and it was a great experience to be able to see some of the issues and concerns that the community has. But I'm so humbled tonight to be here, not only because Canyon Lake is our home, but now Casey and I get to work together and be a part of it and see if we can implement some things that will really make our home even that much better. I want to say thank you so much to my wife. When we decided to make the decision to run for city council, I thought she was going to put a gun in my head and it was going to be over with her. But she embraced it and said, let's do this thing together, let's do this thing as a team. So I'm truly blessed to be able to do that and share that with my wife. And thank you everyone for coming out and supporting Casey and I. We're hoping that we can do a lot of good things together. And again, congratulations, Casey. Awesome. Thank you guys, appreciate it.
Just one quick comment. I'm sure most of you noticed the seating arrangement here tonight and over the years. I had two lovely ladies sitting on either side of me. Nothing.
Sorry,
I'm sorry, Jeremy. Nothing against you.
I take a shower with them.
It's the only way that I looked good most of the time here was having these two ladies. So I'm going to miss them. Thank you very much.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay. With that, we're going to have a brief recess. There are refreshments. There are some cupcakes for those who would like to indulge in sugar. We'll have a brief recess. We will do a shuffling of the chairs a little bit, and then we will resume in about 10 minutes. Okay? So we are concluding at 1850. 1852. That way there's no difference if it's AM or PM. 1852, you know it's military time. All right, thank you. That too. All right, we're going to reconvene the council meeting in 1 minute. So would everybody that is staying, please take your seats. Okay, we're gonna reconvene the December 12th council meeting at looks like about 19:05, if the clock is right. Yeah, so.
Larry, can I just get a quick picture for the paper and have all of you look here at me?
Sure.
Okay. Ready? Don't blink. One more. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Donna. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bonner,
Here.
Councilmember Castillo,
Here.
Councilmember Aaron-Krantz,
Present.
Councilmember Green,
Here.
Councilmember Smith.
Here. Okay, would you ask to conduct nominations for mayor, please?
We will now open the floor for nominations for appointment to the mayor's seat. Are there any nominations?
I would like to nominate Council Member Larry Green.
Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, Councilmember Larry Green has been nominated for mayor. I will now conduct a roll call. Please answer aye or no. Councilmember Bonner,
Aye.
Councilmember Castillo,
Aye.
Councilmember Aaron-Krantz,
Aye.
Councilmember Green,
Aye.
Councilmember Smith.
Aye.
Councilmember Larry Green has been appointed to the mayor's seat.
Okay. Would you ask for nominations for mayor pro tem, please?
We will now open the floor for nominations for appointment to the mayor pro tem seat. Are there any nominations?
Yes, I would like to have Jordan Aaron-Krantz be the next mayor pro tem.
Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, Councilmember Jordan Aaron-Krantz has been nominated for mayor pro tem. I will now conduct a roll call. Please respond aye or no. Councilmember Bonner,
Aye.
Councilmember Castillo,
Aye.
Councilmember Aaron-Krantz,
Aye.
Mayor Green,
Aye.
Councilmember Smith.
Aye.
Councilmember Jordan Aaron-Krantz has been appointed to mayor pro tem.
We're going to take a brief moment to move nameplates, I guess. Okay, are we ready to move forward? Okay. You've already announced the results of that committee assignments. Discussion and approval of committee assignments. There'll be a sheet that will be passed out. Please, council members, look at those assignments. Some of you, we've already talked, most of you, we've talked about your assignments. That'll be for this calendar year. Are there any questions or comments about the assignments?
Well, Mayor, you're saying that Becky is going to continue the Veterans Committee?
Yes.
Okay.
We asked our staff, or our council members, those who were interested in continuing to support the Veterans Committee, and Vicki had expressed a strong, that she wanted to continue on with that, and I think since she's done such a good job, and it was willing to carry that forward, that's why it's there.
Okay.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to confirm the appointments?
Just quickly, Mr. Mayor, as we spoke of earlier, staff feels that the Public Works Committee is not needed. That is now covered under Finance and Planning. So as part of your motion, we'd like you to eliminate that committee.
Okay, I think we put as available, meaning that if we ever had a situation, but if you want to pull that off, is there any objections to that?
Mayor, and no reflection of Jeremy at all, but the move I moved through Mecca Valley Task Force is usually the mayor and the RCTC representative commissioner.
The reason that Councilman Smith is on the I-15 is he's very astute in the transportation side, and he asked that that be considered part of his assignments, and so that was taken into consideration. So his duties are kind of grouped in the transportation side, which each of us have taken a piece of the assignments based on our areas of interest as well as expertise.
And Mayor, we just rethinking that, so we'll leave the Public Works Committee alone. The next time we redo the resolution, we'll bring it back for the council at that time.
Okay.
It'll be vacant.
Yes, we'll leave it vacant at this time.
Okay. Would City Clerk please take a roll call? Roll vote, please.
Councilmember Bonner,
Aye.
Councilmember Castillo,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Aaron Kranz,
Aye.
Councilmember Smith,
Aye.
Mayor Green.
Aye. Okay, that's a 5-0. And we've already done the presentation of all of the proclamations. Is there any proclamations that need to be presented at this time?
No, Your Honor.
No, okay. Public comment statement.
Chamber
Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, Chamber of Commerce, I'm sorry. I knew you were here for a reason.
Good evening, everyone. I'm past President Jim Randall, and I'll be the chamber liaison with the city for the next 6 months. Our president has a commitment on Wednesday nights with his daughter.
Okay.
So being a single dad myself at one time, I can appreciate his position. The chamber would like to also say thank you to Vicki Warren, Don Haggerty, and Nancy Horton. I think they've done a fine job for the city, and which is spoken by everybody. We need, we have our awards gala coming up in January, and we're still looking for nominations for outstanding Canyon Lake volunteer, citizen, organization, youth, or chamber member business. The applications are in the Friday flyer. They can be picked up at the chamber office, and I believe we have some at the table tonight if anyone has anybody that they'd like to nominate. The deadline for nomination is on December 28th. Oh, you can also pick them up at Pack Wrap and Post. We'll select the winners, and they'll be recognized at the gala dinner on Saturday, January 26th. And that's at 6 p.m. at the lodge. Tickets went up a little bit. Lodge increased their pricing. It went from 45 to 50. We're also looking for sponsors and drawing prizes. If you run a small business, want to donate a raffle basket or something, that'd be great. And you'll be named in the programs and what have you. And we would appreciate any and all support we can get. It's usually a very good turnout for the city that night, and hopefully we can keep it that way. And just for some of you, and I know Larry is, or I'm sorry, Mayor Green. There's changes coming to our annual golf tournament that we sponsor for junior golf, so stay tuned. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Jim. Okay, public comments.
Any person wishing to address the city council on any matter within the jurisdiction of the city, whether or not it appears on this agenda, is asked to complete a speaker request form available on the back counter. The completed form is to be submitted to the city clerk prior to an individual being heard by the city council. The city council has adopted a time limitation of 3 minutes per person. If you are commenting on the agenda item, your comments will be heard at the time that particular item is scheduled on the agenda. Please note that if you are addressing the city council on items not on the agenda, the Brown Act does not allow discussion of such items. Therefore, the city council may only do the following: refer the matter to staff, ask for additional information, or request a report back, or give a very limited factual response. I have 3 cards. Up first is Paul Queen.
Hello. How do I always get picked first? I just wanted to say I want to thank the entire city council, including the members that have left, for their work this past year. And congratulations, Larry, on being elected mayor. He used to be called Mr. Mayor. I know serving elected office is a difficult task. I can attest to it. But I want to congratulate Jeremy and Casey on the huge mistake you've just made. But mostly I wanted to be here tonight because I wanted to thank my friend Dawn Haggerty. I thought she'd be in front of me when I came up, but I guess not. But Dawn is, I became familiar with Dawn when I was president last year and she was on the city council, and we kind of formed an unlikely friendship. She's worked so hard on so many things for the city. I didn't know everything that she worked on, but I knew that she worked very hard on funding and reopening the fire station. One of the other big things she was trying to get done was to revamp the police department, to get a more cooperative effort between the POA and the council and the police department, get better police coverage for us. I know she worked on trying to get transportation buses and things for senior citizens that couldn't get to doctor's appointments and grocery stores and things like that. She worked on so many things, and she never ever gave up. I never saw anybody that was so tenacious in my entire life. As you know, she served on the POA board of directors prior to serving on the council. And so last year when I was president, that was her 3rd year of being away from the board of directors. And I would see her at events and things, and sometimes we talk on the phone, and every single time she saw me, she would tell me how I needed to implement the solar project that never got finished from when she was on the POA board. That's the person that she is. She never gave up. She was still trying to get those things done that she thought should have been done 3 years after she was off the board. So really, I just wanted to say thank you, Dawn, for everything that you've done for all of us. Job well done, and congratulations on your retirement.
Next we have Jack Wamsley.
First of all, I'd like to congratulate our new members of the council. I know it was a good fight to win the positions that you got, and I also know that it looks like we're going to have an excellent council. You people, I know, are going to be able to work together, and that's very important. The other thing is that I think it's very important that we work with the POA. We're one of the rare cities in the county where the Property Owners Association is bigger than the city. But we do have to work together, and I hope that everything will go along nice and smooth, that everybody in the community is kind of sitting back waiting to see what's going to happen. So good luck, and thank you for taking the time to run for the council. It's not an easy job, believe me.
Lastly, we have Brandon Lane.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. My name is Brandon Lane. I wear many hats within Riverside County. My volunteer job, as I like to call it, I serve as a council member in the city of Murrieta, and so I want to say congratulations to the 2 newly electeds. I don't know the gentleman, but sometimes I would have to agree with them. Congratulations on the mistake you've just made. But it has its great moments. However, this evening, my day job, I work for SoCalGas as Public Affairs Manager, and this evening I came to update you on some things that are going on in the state of California. As I'm sure you know, SoCalGas distributes natural gas to residents in Southern California and a portion here in Canyon Lake, allowing them to heat their homes, have hot water, cook meals, dry clothes, and some residents may also use natural gas for a fireplace, barbecue, hot tub, or pool heater. And while I know that the main residence within Canyon Lake does not have natural gas, their residents outside and your businesses are affected by this. The employers in your city also rely on natural gas to cook meals at restaurants, pump water, and in many industrial applications. Natural gas is affordable, abundant, and the energy choice in homes and businesses for the many purposes I just stated. It is part of a balanced energy portfolio Southern California enjoys. I'm here tonight to raise your awareness of an ongoing issue in California. The state legislature wants to electrify everything. A proposal which did not pass the legislature this year would have required all new buildings built after 2022 to be all electric and would have required existing buildings to be retrofitted to be all electric by 2030. While this proposal did not pass, you can be assured that more similar proposals will be coming. Think about how much residents in Southern California pay for electricity to cool their homes in the summer and how relatively little they pay for natural gas to heat their homes in the winter. Imagine paying those high electric bills year-round because they are forced to heat with electricity. The proposals to force Californians to electrify their homes are being made in the name of global warming, reducing greenhouse gas, carbon emissions, and other environmental goals. And while these goals are admirable, a cost-benefit analysis just can't justify such drastic actions, and every homeowner and business owner in California are the ones who will pay. Let me be clear, SoCal Gas does not oppose electrification. If you want to use electric appliances in your home, that's your choice, but don't take away that choice from those who want to use other fuel sources. The fact is, virtually every home in California already has electricity and natural gas, and this is balance. I am here alerting you that this balance is being threatened, and with it come the economic stability of families and businesses could be threatened as well. By forcing homeowners to replace their natural gas appliances and business owners as well, the average cost to retrofit a home in California is $7,200 per home, plus the cost of electricity on top of that. If just 16% of gas we deliver to customers comes from renewable sources, it will have the same effect on greenhouse gas emissions as electrifying all of California and at much lower cost to everyone. With a balanced approach, we can achieve goals, preserve choice, and minimize disruption and cost. The point is, California shouldn't have to choose between what some decision makers in California believe is right for the environment and the reality of what families can afford with a balanced energy approach. They don't have to. This evening, I'm here to basically inform you because while, again, the vast majority of your homeowners in Canyon Lake will not be affected by this, all of your business owners will be affected by this. And retrofitting your businesses will cost your businesses, some of them to go out of business, and it will eliminate the ability of some business owners to actually go into business. And all we're asking tonight is to stay informed, to use me as information. If I can ever be of help, you know how to get in touch with me. My cell number, my email, please don't hesitate to give me a call. With that, congratulations again to Councilwoman Castillo, Councilmember Smith, the rest of you, Mayor Green. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have no more cards.
Okay, we're going to move to the consent calendar. Would you read the consent calendar, please?
All items listed on the consent calendar are considered to be routine matters, status reports, or documents covering previous city council action. The items listed on the consent calendar may be enacted in one motion. With the concurrence of the city council, a council member may request that an item be removed for further discussion. Staff recommends approval of all items.
Is there any council member that would like an item pulled?
Yes.
Mayor?
Mayor Green. Can we pull line item 5, please?
Okay. Number 5, you said? A minute? He's got it. Okay, item 5.
Mayor, I don't want to pull one, but I want to make a comment that I think is important for the citizens, okay? Number 6, is control pump we're talking about. It's a pump that's over at the reservoir right outside where the country club is, okay? And the last time we did this, we put plants in there along the Railroad Canyon Road, and they almost all died, okay? Because the pump wasn't functioning the way it needed to be functioning. So now we have a plan, our city manager and our administrative service has a plan, and we're gonna make sure those pumps are working. So when we're gonna put new plans in there, we're not gonna lose them again the second time. So it's really important. And number 2, number 8, in the consent, Barry and I have been on the finance committee for the last 12 months, and we've really been struggling with this whole thing about engineering and planning and what have you. And we finally came to the conclusion that it was costing us too much, and we weren't getting the results we needed. So it worked out, the company that was here before, on their own, decided to cancel or stop the contract, and we have a new one we're working on, and I think we're gonna see different, what we want and have in the past, and we're not gonna be able, we're gonna be doing it right, and we're gonna be timely getting these response back to the citizens and back to the POA, and make it work for all of us. Thank you.
Okay. Let's go ahead and, item 5 has been pulled, and the other items are standing on the consent calendar. Do I hear a roll call vote, please, on the remaining items? I need a motion.
I make a motion to approve the consent, other than number 5.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bonner?
Aye.
Councilmember Castillo?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Aaron
Aye.
Councilmember Smith?
Aye.
Mayor Green?
Aye.
Motion carried 5-0 to approve the consent calendar with item 5 being pulled.
Okay, a discussion on item 5 now? Is that, yeah. So let's open discussion on 5.
Yeah, just pulling out line item 5 because, you know, myself and Casey, we were not here, so I can't vote on that, so that's why I decided to pull it.
Procedure.
But you can abstain.
But he's pulling it
He's
because
correct.
he's correct.
Yes.
Absolutely.
He's correct because he can't vote on something he wasn't here to.
No, that's why you abstain.
Yeah. So, all right. So being that as it may, vote on a motion for the acceptance of those minutes for those who were here.
So moved.
Second.
Can we get a second?
Roll call.
Just the three of them.
Councilmember Bonner?
Aye.
Councilmember Castillo?
Abstain.
Mayor Pro Tem Aaron
Aye.
Councilmember Smith?
Abstain.
Mayor Green?
Aye.
Motion carried 3-2 with Councilmember Castillo and Councilmember Smith abstaining.
Okay, scheduled future events.
I'll mention that under city manager comments.
Okay. Well, then we'll move down to business items. Item 9.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Before you tonight is an item that we moved from the November meeting. The city is a member of Western Community Energy, JPA, with 6 other cities, looking at the possibility of being able to purchase our own power and possibly providing discounts to members of the community. In order to, for WCE to submit their plan for a start date of 2020, all the cities need to, by law, enact an ordinance that basically the city is allowing themselves to participate in a CCA. Here tonight I have the Executive Director of WCE, Rick Bishop, and the Deputy Director of Operations, Barbara Sponauer, and they'll be able to answer any questions you have regarding this issue.
Okay. Any public comments? No public comments. Okay. Direct the staff to, for a motion.
I make a motion to approve the ordinance number 178.
Okay. Is there a second?
Yes, I'll second the motion.
Okay.
Mayor, I'm sorry, I think you need to amend your
The
motion
motion would be to introduce.
to introduce
Have
the
first
ordinance.
reading.
Okay.
The ordinance.
First reading, I'm sorry.
And waive reading by title only.
Yes,
Okay. So are we back to the first, this is the first reading, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, we've got a motion on the floor. We've got a second.
Mayor, can I, Rick, is this the PACE program?
No.
No, this is totally different. Okay, let's do a roll call vote, I guess, to move this forward.
Councilmember Bonner?
Aye.
Councilmember
Abstain.
Mayor Pro Tem Aaron
Aye.
Councilmember Smith,
Abstain.
Mayor Green.
No.
Motion fails.
Okay?
May I make a comment,
Sure.
Mr. Mayor? I think we ought to give the opportunity to people that are here to speak on this issue. Including myself, I'm not 100% clear on exactly what it is this will do, but I'm leaning more towards it than against it. And I think the new council members should hear what they have to say, and I think perhaps we should revisit this in January, rather than have the motion fail at this time, if that's permissible.
And if I may, Mr. Mayor, just a sort of clarification, even though that the ordinance failed, the city is still a member of the JPA and still has a seat at the table. So if you'd like, you can have Rick come up and speak to that, and if you have any questions for them at this time.
Okay. I actually am going to defer to the new council members. Would that be helpful for you, or would you prefer?
As to me, I don't know that, short of a pretty lengthy presentation, I would be comfortable in changing my vote. So that's where I stand.
Would you, I guess the question is, would we want more information so that you would have a more informed view of this? Councilman Smith?
Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Before you proceed, I think it'd be appropriate to characterize the Mayor Pro Tem's request as a request for reconsideration of this item, so that if you end up removing the vote, it doesn't stand.
Okay. Was his item was to move it to?
I think he's asking for reconsideration so that the no vote doesn't stand. That's a motion that requires a second, and then you can proceed. Sorry to interrupt you.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay. So we moving, what are we, I opened it up for comments from our two, Councilman Smith?
Are we able to proceed on that, on comments now?
Yes, you can, because of reconsideration.
Yeah, so I was told, thank you Barbara, by the way, for calling me last night. I appreciate that and kind of giving me some inside information a little bit on what's going on. I was told that we were under a deadline as a city to make a decision today, but that has been pushed to now January. Is that correct? Can you comment on that, please?
Certainly. Thank you, Barbara Spooner, Deputy Executive Director of Operations, Western Riverside Council of Governments and Western Community Energy. We have had our lawyers, since our discussion last night, go back and forth between the statute. The CPUC is the one that has set the deadline. Then their interpretation of the statute is the fact that the city is part of the JPA. We can continue with our implementation plan, add some language that would allow you to take an action in January so that we can come out and meet and give a longer presentation and answer any of your questions and have a really good opportunity with the CPUC in keeping Canyon Lake in a potential 2020 launch. Because what happens is, if it just gets pushed out too far, then you stay a member of the JPA unless you decide to drop out. But your opportunity to serve your residents would be moved to a 2021 date.
Another question I have is we have a couple of our desert cities in Riverside County, Cathedral City, Palm Springs, Palm Desert, I believe. Those are the three that decided to hold off until 2020, which would then put them in that 2022 mark. Can you comment on that?
For Desert Community Energy, the three cities, they were due to launch in August of this year. The economics just did not look right for them to do their launch, so they did the most prudent thing, which we would do, is going through this exploratory process, which is they decided to delay. They're delayed, they're looking at launching alongside of us in a 2020. They have the potential, if things look really good for them, to launch in 2019 if they so desired. Again, That's where they are. They have not disbanded. They've just made a prudent decision that it wasn't feasible at the time to launch, and are looking at the opportunities in the future to get servicing load.
Thank you, Mayor. Rick Bishop, Executive Director of WRCOG and the WCE. I want to also congratulate the two new council members and also totally understand the desire for the abstention. One thing I wanted to also emphasize for the council is the introduction of this ordinance is a procedural step that's required by the CPUC. And as Mayor Pro Tem Aaron Krantz and City Manager Palmer indicated, right now the city is a member of WCE. This JPA does exist, but there has been no formal commitment to actually participate in the purchase of energy and the provision of that energy to your residents. So the formation of the JPA has occurred. The board has been meeting regularly since August 23rd. The implementation plan, as you can surmise, is a requirement that needs to be submitted to the CPUC by the end of this calendar year. And so those are the steps that we're taking. That being said, the ultimate decision by the council as to whether or not they want to participate in the JPA, which essentially translates to the purchase of energy on behalf of your residents, that decision doesn't need to be made until next fall, sometime in October or so, because our goal is to provide energy to constituents in April of 2020. So that's a long-winded way of saying that this is a procedural step forward. It also provides ample opportunities, months actually, for us to provide as much information to the new council members as well as those of you that have heard this before any formal decision needs to be made, which we think is really prudent. The downside of not moving ahead with this procedural step is, as Barbara indicated, is that it immediately keeps you in the JPA, but it precludes the ability for you to provide energy and energy savings to your residents by our target date, which is April 21st. And so that procedural step of not doing that automatically puts you in an additional year's delay. And so we think that the opportunity to continue to examine the feasibility of moving ahead along with the other 6 jurisdictions that have done so is collectively in our best interest, because I think when it's all said and done, we're going to want to make this decision collectively rather than individually. And I think that being at the table for the next several months is something that would be really helpful to the council.
Your latest projections on costing based on the CUP's changes that they've made, Southern Cal and PG&E and those, what's your projections now on cost savings?
Yeah, it's a good question, and thank you for asking it. So the CPUC recently made a decision on something called the PCIA, and so that's been like one of the big factors in determining whether or not we can go forward. While the decision wasn't the one that we had hoped for, we did get an opportunity to rerun all of our numbers based on a feasibility study that was completed in 2016. And that shows, and that at that time showed a savings of about 2%. We were certain of savings of 2% on the energy bill, which translates to, roughly, depending on the energy bill, residents, it's in the $100 a year margin. But for the city as a whole, I think about $250,000 savings to your residents for doing nothing, just by continuing to pull energy like they do, but having a choice in where their energy comes from. That being said, there's been some additional information that has come out from Southern California Edison. So when Edison received the PCIA decision, it gave them the opportunity to rerun its numbers. So they were able to fill in numbers that were assumptions with real data. And we've come back to find that now that 2% savings is more likely to be a 3% savings. So the needle's moving in a positive direction for us. And so we'll continue to refine and look at the numbers and report on a regular basis to the WCE board and to the council if desired.
Okay. I guess right now the desire of the council is to bring it back for review back in January. It gives you a month to digest more of the information. Does that work? Okay. So I guess that was our original, one of our original motions was to move this to January's calendar and let folks get a little more information and then make an informed vote. And at that time, you guys should have enough time to.
Yeah, and we'd be happy to meet with the new council members. We'll set something up.
Okay,
Appreciate that.
You bet.
all right. So I guess I need a motion on carrying it forward, or is it already,
You're fine.
we're fine? Okay.
Yeah.
Does it require a vote?
No, it's just direction.
Okay, so direction is that we're gonna bring this back in January with the interim time to bring all of us up that need to be brought up to speed on where we are. Because there are some very pointed questions. I had an opportunity to meet with Southern Cal Edison prior to the PUC's decision and after. And they have a little different twist on costing and stuff. So that's why I asked, because we originally had talked about a little higher percentage, and then the aspect of that's being somewhat balanced now, I guess I'll call it. So, but I just want us as council, this is an important decision, and I really think that we need all the information we can, because it's going to affect everyone in our community.
Yeah. No, we agreed. We're happy to make sure that you have all the information that makes you comfortable to make a decision one way or the other.
Lastly, you guys came, I think Barbara, in August, was it, when you presented?
July.
July, right? Okay, so since July, has there been any changes in that startup cost?
No, the startup costs are still roughly $4 to $5 million. I think you had asked me last night because we are looking to finance $20 million, and that is for the initial purchase of the power.
Okay. So pretty much everything since July is the status quo?
Everything, yes. The only thing that has changed is the PUC decision that came out. Again, we reran our numbers, came up with a 2%. Edison in early November reran their numbers, submitted them, thrown them out, and now we're a little higher than 3%. We're still submitting our implementation plan at 2%, just because we still remain in that conservative mode of not over-promising anything.
And 7 cities, one including us?
Correct.
Lake Elsinore has not, Menifee has not, our bordering cities?
No.
Those other additional cities, so the board, the WC board has the door open for other cities to join. The caveat being that because you're one of the 7 that's in first, you'll also be, if the decision is made to go forward with purchasing energy, then you'll be providing energy to your residents April 2020. The cities that join later wouldn't have that opportunity. Their provision of service would be a year after that point.
Got it.
And I think there was a question as to the implications of Measure S and whether or how that would impact our city.
Certainly, the UTT. The UTT is collected, UUT, I'm sorry, is collected. It is calculated off of the total bill. That still remains the same. The impact is that since we're providing a set of savings to the residents on their utility bill, there would be a savings there, so the bill would be less, so they would still collect the same percentage, it would just be on a lesser amount.
So based on the 253,000 and the 3.95%, it's approximately $10,000 a year.
Okay? That's a consideration. Okay?
Thank you. Seriously, thank you
guys.
guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay.
Are we allowed to ask a question? Or
Public comment.
Yeah, you can have, we have public comment now. Because I asked for public comments, Jack.
I didn't hear you, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Hey,
I got it written
well,
down.
one thing that I'm concerned about on this, it says additional commercial solid waste collection. How would that affect CR&R? Our relationship?
Wait a minute, Jack, you're on the wrong one.
What?
That's the next item.
That's not the second.
Jack.
How did we skip that one?
We haven't. Item number 1 is our power discussion.
Okay, I'll ask the question later.
To the one we've got on the table right now. Go ahead.
Okay.
It's my understanding that Governor Brown just signed the bill that allows the utility companies to charge us for the massive fires and possible hundreds of $millions of lawsuits and things like that that just occurred over the last year, and that they can pass that on to the ratepayers. So my question would be, is that we go through this, do we not pay that increased amount of, would we not end up being charged that increased amount to cover their butts? Like, if we're going through you instead of through them?
And I believe that law doesn't goes into effect 2019, January of 2019, and it was pushed by PG&E and SoCal Edison
Yes.
and San Diego Gas and Electric.
Yes, and the rates that will be impacted, or the bill that would be impacted, is on the distribution side, not the generation side. So WCE is purchasing the power, so it's the generation side. If you look at your utility bill, Edison breaks it out. They have the generation at the top, and right underneath is the distribution piece, and that's for their wires and transmission lines, billing and everything that they do. That would be the piece that they would be increasing. So you would see the reduction on the generation side, but everyone, it's not going to be just.
We'll still see the increase.
We'll still see the increase.
So either way, pretty much.
Either way,
Edison-
statewide, if they're
Yeah.
passing through their costs, it's gonna be passed through to all the ratepayers. That's how they're dispersing the cost out to everyone, so.
Everyone, CCA, non-CCA is going to feel that.
Thank you. Yes, Deb.
It's my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, that we can, if we say we approve this tonight, to just continue to move forward, that we still could stop at any point that we ended up deciding that the numbers didn't work for us. So why are you not approving, at least moving forward, so that if you do decide to approve it, that will be in the 2020, not in 22 or 21?
I think a couple of reasons why we're not approving it now. We got 2 new council members that didn't get enough time to digest all of the information. They got it in a very short amount of time. Gives us a month now between council meetings that we can provide additional information to them so that they got an idea of kind of like the briefings that we've had, and thank you to you guys, so that they got more information. And that's why we're just, and January is still going to keep us in the ballpark. We're not going to be missing the window. Is that my understanding? We're still good?
Unless you don't move ahead in January, then you're done.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and we will make, there will be a decision in January.
And I would urge you to consider it very seriously, because a savings to the community is very, very important. Electric bills for retired people are to the point that it's, if it keeps going up, I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do. So it's something, I was surprised that you two didn't just abstain because of no lack of information. It was still passed with 3 of you to move forward, and then you would still have time to get your information and make a decision in January. You know, at any point, in other words, the city can pull out up to a certain point, but give it serious consideration.
Okay, thank you. Any other public comments on this item? Hearing none, we will go now to a public hearing. And would you please read the title?
Thank you, Mayor. This is a time and place fixed for a public hearing to consider the adoption of Resolution Number 2018-31, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Canyon Lake increasing and setting an additional commercial solid waste collection rate to address state law requirements for solid waste diversion for the 2018-2019 fiscal year.
Okay. The time we're opening this hearing is at 19, looks like about 19:50. I think that clock's a couple minutes off. Go ahead. Okay, it's open.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. Tonight, staff is asking for City Council approval to approve Resolution 2018-31 to adopt a new commercial recycling cart service with the city's current waste hauler, CR&R Incorporated, to help meet compliance with the CalRecycle and Assembly Bill 341, which is the mandatory commercial recycling. So just a little history. Back in 2012, California passed some legislation, Assembly Bill 341, that it makes it mandatory for any commercial business that generate at least 4 cubic yards of solid waste to have a recycling plan in place. for some time now. 6 years later, we still have quite a few businesses that are still not following the requirements of AB 341. So CRNR proposed the idea of maybe offering a low-cost recycling disposal cart, which is a lot costlier. It's not as costly as a large dumpster would be. That would potentially as an option for them to utilize if cost is an issue. So so the cart actually is relatively cheap in price in comparison. It's only $34.87 per month. And again, we're just asking for council's approval just to adopt this new service with CRNR. And I'll take any questions. I do have Alex Brockovich, who's the Senior Regional Vice President of CRNR here that can answer any questions too.
Okay, questions from staff or council? Just I do have a question, and I read Alex's report. It's a monthly or is that a weekly fee?
It's a monthly.
Monthly fee on top of what they're, okay, thank you. Okay. Any questions? Hearing none. Okay. Any testimony from proponents? Oh, I'm getting to you, Jack. You're a proponent.
Okay, I go back with this. First of all, there's no indication of any price or anything here. I guess we're guessing what it's going to cost.
It's in the staff report that's connected.
We don't have the staff report. That should be available to the public, I would think. But anyway, in support of CRNR, they've been an excellent company for doing things that we need. At the present time, I think we have about 4 or 5 storage containers that they give us every year at no cost at all. And they have been doing that for 25 years. So they're an excellent company. I know they just built a new waste disposal plant over there. And I still would like to know what the cost is, but I love the company, and they've always been fair to us.
You want the monthly cost?
Well, if you have it.
Yeah, the monthly cost is $34.87.
$34.87. Doesn't say it here on your sheet.
For the
It
businesses.
Does on yours, but doesn't on
Okay,
mine.
yeah, it's $34.87.
Okay.
Very good, Jack.
Oh, secret.
Okay, no, nothing's secret, everything's a public
I know.
document. Okay. All right, do we hear any?
What are we paying now?
This is a new rate in addition. This is for only business owners that fall into a certain category.
Doesn't affect.
No, I believe, Mike, it affects about 11 businesses. And
Just commercial.
it's just commercial.
Okay, good. Well, anyway, I do support CRNR. They've been an excellent company to deal with.
Okay, that means you are a proponent.
I am.
Okay, now do we have anybody in opposition of this proposed ordinance? Going once, going twice, I hear none, see none. Okay, I will.
Larry, if I can, just
Go
real
ahead.
quick. I just want to say thanks, Alex, for reaching out to me early on and educating me on this. You did a phenomenal job vetting us and understanding this bill that now we got to be in ordinance of. So thank you. I just want to say thank you. Appreciate that.
Okay, hearing none, no further comments. The hearing is closed at 19:54. Okay, discussion of council. Okay. Action of council, we need to make a second, a motion.
I'll motion it.
To approve resolution 2018-31. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Councilmember Bonner?
Aye.
Councilmember Castillo?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Aaron
Aye.
Councilmember Smith?
Aye.
Mayor Green?
Aye.
Motion approved 5-0 to approve resolution number 2018-31.
Okay, the next is a public hearing for the adoption of resolution 2018-32. which is the fee adjustment for our fees that we charge for most about anything that the city does. It's been quite a few years, 12 to 18 years, since we've done a fee study and adopted our fees. This is quite a very comprehensive fee study. It was done to bring us in sync with other jurisdictions in our area. It's based on, instead of being a flat rate, it's based on cost of service, and that's full cost of service to issue permits and things like that. So, Mike, are you going to?
That would be me,
oh, that's
Mr. Mayor.
Aaron, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I saw him stand up there, and
That's okay. I prefer to turn it over to Mike, but he don't want to do it.
okay.
That's okay. So you've seen this presentation before. We'll go through it a little quickly. This is the one from the workshop on the 14th of November. Unfortunately, both Greta with MBS and Terry, our finance director, are both unable to be here because they're at the same municipal finance officers conference up in Northern California. So, so the issues that they looked at, obviously with any fee studies, you look at what's defensible. You want to make sure that you're compliant for fee services. Providing a reasonable cost for providing those services, and cost recovery. And as the council's direction was early on in this was because we were so small that we were looking at, the consultant was given the task of cost recovery at 100%. So the fee study looks at cost recovery opportunities, revenues implemented by the council. However, fees are not taxes, fines, utility rates, any of those such. Fees are strictly costs for service. When they studied it, they looked at the 5 departments in front of you: finance and admin, planning, building and safety, public works and engineering, and they looked at animal control. Animal control, however, is provided through our Southwest JPA and managed by Animal Friends of the Valley. So as you see, there will be no changes with regards to animal control, since that is handled through the JPA. So benefits, obviously, is to we want to reduce the subsidy of the general fund, obviously, since our budget is fairly small. We want to make sure that we're recovering as much as we can regarding our service, so that we're not subsidizing, the general fund is not subsidizing some of these activities. We want to make sure, particularly under number 3, that fund departments are funding efficiently. We want to make sure that we set a reasonable cost for recovery. Something that one of the big things when they went through all the departments is making sure that when they spoke with all the departments, they were looking at, okay, how long does it take you to do something? As we heard from the old management classes, time and motion studies, how long does it take for you to do something? And so looking at that to make sure that, with regards to the defensible aspect of the fees, is to make sure that, if the fee requires 2 hours of service, then that task takes 2 hours. They broke cost recovery into 3 different aspects. So you have your global benefits. Typically, that's your public safety and your public works. Then you have a blended one where you have typically special enforcement where you have an issue, code enforcement issue that will affect that person and maybe residents around them. So you're looking at a smaller group. And then you have the individual benefit, which is typically where the fees themselves come into effect, as opposed to taxes. If you look here, so globally, you see tax funded, so that would be police and fire. Whereas somebody comes in for new home application, a variance or something like that, that's going to be fee based, because that's based on the individual. It's not based on any kind of group or citywide. So just quickly looking at all the departments. We'll go through them rather quickly. Most of the departments there, what we're going to come back to with you at mid-year in February is Terry's going to come up with, he's going to be able to show you what the fees were, what the fees are now, and then what they are with the new fees implemented, so he can show you the difference in cost recovery, where we are with regards to the budget and how much that's going to either increase or decrease. Right now, based on the information, the most notable one would be building and safety. Currently, we're recovering about 78% of our overall fees for building and safety. So there's a gap there. Based on that, if these finance and NBS is estimating if the building and safety fees were implemented July 1st, it would be an additional $60,000 in revenue. I believe currently building and safety revenue is budgeted for $270,000 this year, so that would have put us at about $330,000. So then they looked at best practices. They recommend comprehensive fee studies every 3 to 5 years, and talking with MBS and giving them our perspective. Basically, we're a fairly small city. Most of our fees are building related, and so because of our size, we're going to recommend to the council that we look at this every 5 years. I don't think we need to look at it every 3. We're not, we're not building having large developments that Menifee or Lake Elsinore or Marietta have. So we can live with our fees probably every 5 years. Look at that, review them, and see what needs to be adjusted at that time. The other big thing that's included in there for you to approve is an annual increase mechanism. The council has 2 options. We don't want to fall behind, like Mayor Green said. It's probably been at least 15 years since these fees were last updated, and so to have an annual increase mechanism. And so what is being recommended is a 3% ceiling based on CPI of the LA Riverside Orange County area. And so then the finance director will be able to use that in his planning every year when we put together the budget, when he's trying to forecast revenues. And then now we'll be able to have a combined municipal fee schedule. We'll be able to put that out on the website, have it at the counters, be able to see everything from the admin, finance, building and safety, planning, whatever it costs. Attachment 2 is attachment 2 in your packet is the actual master fee schedule that's being proposed. And after discussing it with staff's discussed it, Terry, we discussed it with Greta at MBS. She only found I would say an anomaly. She found one fee that came back. It was justifiable, but thought it was high. And so it was, if you go to page 190 in your binder, and down at the third cell from the bottom, BL 78.
Which one?
So page 190, and that's third from the bottom, BL 78. When you're all ready, that'll be quick. Okay, so that is that's the water heater permit, and so it actually based on everything, it actually came back at $285. We kicked it around or whatever, and what we'd like to recommend to the council is, since this is more of a global, because this is a public safety issue, because if something happens with your water heater, if anybody's ever seen it, you can find it on YouTube. MythBusters had a great episode with regards to water heaters and what they could do, and I think they're trying to launch satellites. They could, so they're pretty destructive if they're not installed properly. And so after talking with NBS and finance, staff would like to recommend the one change to this master fee list, and for the water heater permit to be $95. That would basically cover the labor of the inspection. And with that, we'll take any questions.
All right, questions from?
And then one other thing, before you, so you have 2 resolutions. I think that the city attorneys speak to what they are and how they work and the votes required for each.
You have 2 sets of fees here. You have what are called development processing fees, which are the planning, building, engineering fees. And you have what we call more general fees for other city services provided. The other city services take effect immediately, or the date in the future date that's in the resolution, which in this case is January 1st. However, if you want what are called the development processing fees to be effective immediately or for January 1st, will have to happen as a multi-step process. By 4/5 vote, you would adopt them urgency this evening. You would need to renew that urgency finding in a notice public hearing in January, followed by the same action in a notice public hearing in February. At that point, the 60-day delay for adoption of those fees would kick in and they would become effective basically in March. So assuming you decide to proceed, you need to determine what the timing of the development processing fee adoption should be.
Comments? One of the comments that I have is that this is actually already 6 months past due. And we've really come behind our revenue. It's just taken an extremely long time. Excuse me, this got a throat. I would like to get them on the books as soon as possible. Sorry. Down the wrong pipe.
And while he recovers, in the event that you were to decide to split the fees, I have a request from Gina, the code enforcement officer, to please go forward with the code enforcement and animal control fees, which she badly needs in place, because it includes a new business decal system that is supposed to go into place January 1st.
Any other comments from council?
Yeah, if I read this correctly, between page 4 and page 139, the first two paragraphs of adoption is an or, and the second and third is and.
Yes, that's correct.
That's not what it says on page 4.
It isn't, whatever it says on page 4 it is an and. If you have one ordinance, you'll have your regular fees go into effect January 1st, but your development processing fees won't go into effect until 60 days from today. If you split them, you'll have a separate ordinance for the regular fees, the code enforcement, the finance, the administration, and the animal control, and you will have a separate resolution, and then you'll have a separate resolution for the development processing fees, which is an urgency resolution, which would be renewed at each subsequent meeting for the next 2 months.
So Betsy, when we vote for this, are we voting between the first and second paragraph?
The first thing you have to decide is, when do you want assuming you're going to vote for them,
Okay.
when do you want your development processing fees, the planning and building and engineering, to take effect? Is 60 days okay, or does it need to be immediate? Larry's an advocate of immediate.
Can I make a motion?
See what
One
became the
comment.
mayor?
Go ahead, Jordan.
My only comment is I see no reason to wait. The sooner the better. I think everybody hopefully is comfortable with the fees. And the city can certainly use the revenue.
And we're so overload, we should have done this a long time ago.
Oh, absolutely. But we're faced with it now. And I know Jeremy wants to say something, but my recommendation would be to start this as soon as possible.
Can I make the motion to adopt resolution number 2, 2018-30-32A?
Need a second?
Second.
There is a second? Okay, what I have to do is I've gotta close the public hearing. Yeah, and then we can vote.
Yes, I think you want me to check the public.
Is there any comments on this from the public, both for or against? Okay, seeing none, I guess I will use this. I will close the public hearing at 20:10. Now, we've already had discussion from council, I think, so we've got a motion on the floor in a second.
I second.
Okay. And the motion is for 2832A and 2018-32B, correct? Okay.
That's the urgency, just so everybody.
Yes. Okay.
We have to do them separately.
No, they can be done together.
Okay.
So now it's gonna be
Can I make-
immediately, not July.
Correct.
We're talking about.
Correct.
Do we need to make that motion as well to include?
You can amend your motion.
Can I do that? Can I, okay. Then I'm gonna alter my, to adopt resolution number 2018-32A along with, or, 2018-32B.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Bonner?
Aye.
Councilmember Castillo?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Aaron
Aye.
Councilmember Smith?
Aye.
Mayor Green?
Aye. Okay.
Motion carried 5-0 to approve resolutions 2018-32A and 2018-32B.
Thank you, guys. It's been ways coming. City manager comments?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to welcome Councilmember Castillo, Councilmember Smith. We're looking forward to working with you. We've already started. It's been great. We really appreciate your input so far. It's got staff jumping, which is good because Mike was looking bored. So that's good. We'd like, we had our tree lighting, and it was great. Staff did a fabulous job. They were out there matching sweaters, which they failed to tell me that I needed to get one. But that's okay. I haven't let them let that one down. But they, as always, staff put on a great tree lighting, great community event. We really, try to get everybody out there. It was a good event. Also, just wanted to let the community know that the city will be closed for the Christmas holidays. We go on break at noon on the 20th. We'll come back on the 2nd. And typically the 2nd would have been our normal council meeting, but obviously being up to the 1st, so the next scheduled council meeting would be the 9th. And, you got anything else? That's all from staff.
It's all from staff, okay. Let's go with committee reports, and we have a time limit, so anyone that goes over 3 minutes will get the gong. So, I will start with Councilmember Bonner.
Oh, okay. We had a 3-hour meeting this morning. RCTC is Riverside County Transportation Commission. And we had 8 people from the public, from Corona, and we had about a package of 50 emails. And this whole thing, if you know what Green River is, and 9 is just not just the 91, it's all the crap that comes into 91, okay? And the people are just going berserk about it, okay? And one thing that was said, I think, was more important than anybody else. If we don't learn from what is going through right now, Temescal Valley is going to have the same in about 5 years from now. So I really encourage people to read those newspapers and stay on top of this subject, because we've got to make sure we get it done right this next time and not have it repeated in Temescal Valley. So it's just, as I say, it was a long meeting, and we've never had 3-hour meeting before. And then the other thing, I went to the WRCOG at the request of Mayor Pro Tem Aaron Kranz, and the PACE program that we've talked about in the past was passed by the commission. So it was a very positive meeting, and it's been a long time since I went there, but it's I've been fortunate to be in so many different agencies, and WRCOG, and Rick is now gone, but they're really a solid civilian or government employees, and work hard for what they're due on all these agencies. Thank you.
Okay, Casey.
Thank you. I'm very excited to begin working on the Public Safety Committee. That is near and dear to my heart, so I'm excited to be appointed to that committee, as well as Water and LEGWA. I have not received any kind of passed down information from the previous committee members, but I'm hopeful that happens in short order, and I look forward to representing our city.
Thank you. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Jordan.
Jordan kind of played hooky this month. I didn't attend too many, including Vector. I was supposed to have been there today, but we had a WCE meeting in its place, so I really don't have anything to report on other than WRCOG has appointed me once again to SCAG for the next 2 years, and I'm on the Waste Management Committee once again, so I'll probably have plenty to report on in the next coming months, but I'll keep my comments under 2 minutes this time. Thank you, and one thing, of course, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everybody, and a healthy and prosperous one. Thank you.
Okay. All right, it's my turn. Well, I'm going alphabetically. I go last, okay. Jeremy, I'm following the list.
Mr. Mayor, you're trying, aren't you?
Go ahead.
Just want to say thanks again, everyone, and thanks to staff for putting together a difficult meeting. I know there's a lot of transitions, a lot of moves, so awesome job and a good job. Seriously, Aaron, thank you. Appreciate all the help. Congratulations, Mayor Larry Green. I'm going to get used to saying that too. I'm sure you're just like, uh-oh, what's coming next? But I want to say thanks again also for the fee project that you put together, Larry. I know that you are a champion on that, seeing it through, and it's a long time coming, and I'm happy that tonight's your night. We got that thing through for you. So I'm excited to serve in regards to some of these agencies. I'm looking forward to digging my heels in regards to transportation. As a commuter myself, I'm on the roads regularly. So I think I could bring some good things that are coming not only in the region but for our community too. We have a lot of commuters in the city. So thanks again, and I appreciate it. And Merry Christmas.
All right, thank you. Well, it's been kind of an extremely busy month with all the things that are going on. We had a meeting in RCA, and I will make it less than 3, which now I get to go to the grand jury to talk about RCA, I guess, tomorrow. We have had a meeting on the BLM land, and to talk about the process that we have to do, and trust me, it's not going to be overnight, and it's not going to be a very fast process. There's a lot of people involved. The good news is we've got more, we're farther ahead now than we've been in years past. We've actually had concrete meetings with Calvert's office, all the BLM players. They're developing stuff right now. They've got a geologist out in the field doing a field study. When they complete that, they come back to us. We're looking at, the RCA was very straightforward on what we have to do to cut that piece out. So the good news is it's going forward. It's going to take a while. We had, for the emergency preparedness, we did, thanks to Anna, the city clerk, we did the oath of affirmation to the entire group. You'll see a photo in the newspaper about it. To bring all of our new members that have either gone through our vetting process, which is a background check, they have to complete a core of classes, they have to have a skill set of some type, and then they actually become a disaster services worker with city IDs, and they have jobs and stuff that they do. And we look forward to our new members, the new assignments. I hope everybody will have a good year. I know we all will. We're working as a team. And I want to thank all those out there who voted for Measure S. It was a lot of work on a lot of people's part, but the results that you'll see in the next several years with a sustainable income that we have, a revenue, I'll call it, not income, it's revenue, puts us in a better position than we would be if we didn't have it. So with that, I will conclude the December 12th. Don't forget, the meeting that we will have next month is January 9th. And we all have a great holiday season, and Merry Christmas. Oh, I need to We will adjourn the meeting at 20:22.